What is up, everyone? Welcome to round 3 of July 2024 for the Portland Monthly Premodern Paper Magic Afternoons. We got a interesting matchup, so let's get into the games. First up, we have yours truly with blue-black Suspicious Vise. Now, this is all around a card called Dark Suspicions, which is a 4-mana enchantment that at the beginning of each opponent's upkeep, that player loses 1 life for each card in their hand more than what I have in my hand. So the basic premise of the deck is to empty my hand, get as much value out on the board as possible, and make sure my opponent keeps as many cards in their hand as possible. This is achieved through plenty of 0-drops. You'll notice I think there's 12. I also run Black Vise as an extra Dark Suspicions effect, even though it's not always as beneficial. And there's also prison style effects here with Winter Orb, Ensnaring Bridge, and Tangle Wire. You may also notice the Tinkers to go find any of these artifacts, and 4 of Standstill, which more often than not, I want to be breaking that standstill and making my opponent draw cards, which I know is a little counterintuitive, but it is an additional 3 points of damage, and if the board is already locked down, it just ends the game that much quicker. Anyways, enough about this deck. Let's get into what my opponent is going to be playing. Next up is Chuck on a blue-green opposition build, which is not something I've seen really in the format before, but I've definitely heard that it's out there. Opposition, for those of you that are unaware, is a 4-drop enchantment where you can tap an untapped creature you control to tap target artifact, creature, or land. So this is a creature-based prison deck that utilizes a lot of mana dorks, a lot of elves to draw cards and make mana, and then big finishers like Ravenous Balos and Masticores. The deck does still have some prison effects and Tangle Wires, and has a couple of Gaia's Cradles too, just for that added extra ramp. I mean, if you're playing that many small drop creatures, totally makes sense. Overall, it looks like a really fun list. Without further ado, let's get into the games. All right, here we go. I am on the left and Chuck is on the right. I believe I won the die roll here. I will be leading off if both players have a keepable 7. All right, here we go. Little discussion on dice. Best spot to put those. Okay, gonna start off with a swamp, into a lotus petal, into a lotus petal. This is what the deck wants to do. It wants to dump its hand into an Urza's Bauble, tinkering on the bauble, sacking the 2 lotus petals. We're off like a shot. What am I grabbing? I'm just gonna grab a Black Vise. All that for a Black Vise to deal, what, 3 damage? Not the most exciting Tinker by any means, and one of the reasons why I think Tinker is still legal in our pre-modern format, because what are you really going to grab with it? Phyrexian Devourer I think is probably the best option. Alright, we got an elf. Ooh, did I draw a Dark Suspicions? I think I did. If I had been a little more patient, I could have played it out this turn. Alright, Chuck taking 2. Play out a forest. And do you do anything else with the mana you got? Alright, gonna swing in for 1. Interesting, getting aggressive with the mana dork. Alright, another swamp. Gonna tap 3 for a Tangle Wire. Funny enough, I think Chuck has a Tangle Wire of his own in hand. He's gonna take 2 points of damage. And is just gonna pass. Missing the 3rd land drop. Alright, deciding what I want to tap for 3. There's another bauble. And I'm actually gonna bauble you, Chuck, and oh, Chuck is actually going to just pack it up. A bit surprising, I think. He doesn't want me to know what he's doing, and even though it's a random card, there is that chance it would give it away. All right, here we are in game number 2. Very interesting play, but I get it. I had no clue how I was sideboarding for this game because I saw an elf and 2 lands. Not a clue what Chuck was up to. However, I do see a Sickening Dreams in my hand, which against an elf deck is a pretty good keep. Mana Dork and go. Let's start off with a Mox, pitch a city, out a swamp. And I think I'm just gonna, use this Sickening Dreams here. Explaining how it works because it's in Japanese, except I forgot how it worked and that it also pings each player equal to the number of cards I discard. So, how many am I discarding? Just one. We're gonna pitch a standstill, and we both should be functionally at 19. All right, there's a Rashawn port. Pass. I'm gonna port my swamp. Okay. There's a blue. Kind of wishing I didn't lose the standstill now. There's a black Vise. It's only gonna deal 1 next turn, but it's still something. All right, we have Wirewood Symbiote, and my go. There's Lotus Petal. Tinker on the Lotus Petal. What am I tinkering for? Probably, at this point, Tangle Wire, I'd imagine. Winter Orb's not worth it right now. Do I have a Tangle Wire in hand? I think I do. Oh, okay. That's maybe a little aggressive of me. But thankfully, it doesn't look like Chuck has much going on right now either. Just gonna swing in with Wirewood Symbiote. And misses his land drop, which is actually huge. That's the second game in a row. That's not great for him. All right, 3 for a Tangle Wire. And now that's gonna really help lock things down. All right, Chuck hits his land drop. 2 mana up, 3 mana up. And I totally forgot to tap for Tangle Wire here. Now, obviously, I wouldn't want to tap the Winter Orb like I'm about to do when I panic. I would tap the Dark Vise, the Tangle Wire, and a land. That's totally my bad, and I can't believe I made that mistake. I also just untapped 2 lands with Winter Orb on the field. Apparently, I don't know how it worked. Thankfully, it's not going to impact the outcome of this match. I am still dealing damage with the Black Vise, which is helpful. But next turn, this is going to be a real problem. Chuck having to discard here now. Alright, only have to tap 1. Tap the Tangle Wire. And there it is, Dark Suspicions. This is the namesake of the deck. I'm going to deal 7 to you, I believe. No cards in hand. And nope, that's gonna be it. I'll take it down in 2, and that's gonna do it. A little disappointed in my sloppy gameplay. Thankfully, like I said, didn't really impact the outcome of the last game. Thank you all for watching. If you've been liking the video so far, make sure to like and subscribe if you made it this far. It really supports the channel. If you want to support the channel even more, there's a Patreon link in the video description below. That money goes towards gear upgrades, travel expenses, and just making more pre-modern content. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you next time.